Elvis Presley's granddaughter Riley Keough sharing her plans for Graceland as the actress fulfills a promise to her mother, Lisa Marie Presley, to publish her memoir.
In 15 years, it's hard to comprehend that happening. Holding to all the countries all over the world via satellite. It's very difficult to comprehend.
For nearly 5 decades, the mystery of what lies upstairs at Graceland has been locked behind closed doors since the day Elvis Presley passed. Fans have speculated about the hidden heart of the king's private world, preserved like a time capsule at the top of that famous staircase. But now, many years later, his own daughter has finally broken the silence. Why was it locked for so long? What was inside?
I think for her it was this place where she could be like wild and free, and I think her father allowed her to kind of like run.
Join us as we uncover the breathtaking revelation about Upstairs Graceland by Elvis Presley's daughter. Protecting Elvis's mysteries. When Elvis Presley passed away on August 16, 1977, it felt like everything at Graceland suddenly went quiet. The famous mansion didn't just become his final resting place, it also became a place full of unanswered questions. Just days after his death, parts of the estate were closed off, especially the attic, which made everyone curious. Elvis passed away in Memphis, Tennessee at just 42 years old. Although the world saw him as the king of rock and roll, behind the scenes, he was struggling. Fans gathered at Graceland heartbroken, while doctors said he most likely died of a heart attack, possibly caused by years of using prescription drugs, especially barbiturates. By the mid-1970s, Elvis wasn't the energetic star people remembered. He had divorced his wife Priscilla in 1973 and had become very dependent on medication. He also developed a habit of eating unhealthy food, which hurt his health. He gained a lot of weight and started staying out of the spotlight. His performances became shaky and unpredictable. Near the end of his life, Elvis lived more like a shut-in than a superstar. On the afternoon of August 16th, he was found unconscious in the bathroom at Graceland. He was rushed to the hospital, but doctors couldn't save him. Elvis was gone. A team of 9 top doctors, led by Dr. Eric Muirhead, performed the autopsy. They suspected he had been taking prescription drugs for a long time, but needed lab tests to confirm it. That evening at 8 p.m., a different medical examiner, Dr. Jerry Francisco, who wasn't part of the autopsy team, announced that Elvis had died of cardiac arrhythmia, meaning his heart had suddenly stopped. He also said drugs weren't the cause, which surprised the other doctors. For a while, most people believed this official explanation. But when the toxicology report came out, it showed high levels of strong prescription drugs in Elvis's system, including Dilaudid, Quaalude, Percodan, Demerol, and codeine. This raised serious questions and led to an investigation. The Tennessee Board of Health launched an inquiry into Elvis's death. It came out that his longtime doctor, Dr. Nick Nicopolis, had written prescriptions for over 8,000 doses of medication since 1975. Even worse, the number of prescriptions had kept increasing. When questioned, Dr. Nick admitted to writing them but claimed he was trying to help, not harm, Elvis. He said Elvis was addicted to painkillers and that giving him legal medication was the only way to keep him away from dangerous street drugs. The jury believed him, and he wasn't charged in connection to Elvis's death. However, in 1980, he was charged with overprescribing drugs to Elvis and singer Jerry Lee Lewis. In 1995, he lost his medical license for good. Still, not everyone agrees that Elvis died from a drug overdose. In a 2025 interview, author Sally A. Hodel, who wrote the book Destined to Die Young, said she believed Elvis actually died from a heart condition, not drug abuse. She suggested that Elvis used medications to deal with serious pain and health problems the only way he knew how. No matter the cause, the world was shocked when Elvis died. People wanted to say goodbye. On August 17th, Graceland opened its doors so fans could view his body. Huge crowds gathered. About 100,000 people showed up. The next day, Elvis was buried. A long funeral procession left Graceland with 17 white Cadillacs and a hearse carrying Elvis's body. His ex-wife Priscilla, daughter Lisa Marie, father Vernon, and grandmother Minnie Mae were there, along with friends and celebrities like Chet Atkins, Anne Margaret, Caroline Kennedy, James Brown, Sammy Davis Jr., and Colonel Tom Parker, his longtime manager. After his death, the Presley family stayed quiet about what was in the attic. That silence only made the rumors grow. Some believed it held unreleased songs or love letters. Others thought there might be proof explaining how Elvis really died. Legal battles over his estate made things even more confusing. What makes Graceland so important? Let's find out. Elvis Graceland. Back in 1957, Elvis Presley was just 22 years old, but he was already one of the biggest stars in the world. His fame brought crowds, noise, and non-stop attention. And Elvis, deep down, wanted a place where he could escape it all. On March 19th of that year, he bought a beautiful piece of land in Memphis, Tennessee, known as Graceland. He paid $102,500 for it, which was a huge sum at the time. Interestingly, the name Graceland wasn't something Elvis came up with. That was already the estate's name before he ever saw it. But once he moved in, Graceland became his own little world. The property was more than just a big house. It had wide-open spaces, barns, and horses. But one of the most unusual residents was a pet chimpanzee named Scatter. Scatter was known for his wild behavior and funny antics. Elvis loved to dress him up in clothes and drive around town with him. Sometimes Elvis would duck out of sight while driving, making it look like Scatter was the one behind the wheel, which gave people quite the shock. But Scatter eventually became too wild to handle. He was mischievous and unpredictable, so Elvis decided to keep him in a special room on the property that was kept at just the right temperature to make him comfortable. One of the most peaceful places at Graceland was something Elvis added himself, a meditation garden. He had it built in 1964 as a quiet spot where he could relax and think. It was filled with beautiful flowers, bubbling fountains, and tall white columns. Elvis often sat there alone, enjoying the calm. After his death, that garden took on a deeper meaning. It became the place where he was finally laid to rest. At first, Elvis was buried in Forest Hill Cemetery in Memphis, beside his beloved mother, Gladys. But just 2 days after his funeral, something shocking happened. Someone tried to steal his heavy, copper-plated coffin, which weighed about 900 pounds. The plan was to hold it for ransom. 3 men were caught and arrested, but surprisingly, they were only charged with trespassing. Even though no one got away with the crime, the incident scared the family enough that they quickly decided to move Elvis and his mother to Graceland. That's where they remain to this day. While many fans have toured Graceland over the years, not all parts of it are open to the public. The second floor of the mansion was Elvis's private world. It included his bedroom and bathroom, spaces so personal that only his closest friends and family were ever allowed in. Sadly, that's also where Elvis was found unresponsive on August 16, 1977. After his death, the Presley family decided to keep the upstairs closed forever. Out of respect, they never released photos or allowed anyone, even presidents or world leaders, to see it. Recently, Graceland found itself in the news again, but this time because of a legal battle. A company called Nosani Investments and Private Lending LLC claimed that Elvis's granddaughter, Riley Keough, hadn't repaid a loan and tried to sell the estate. Riley, who is now in charge of the family trust that owns Graceland, said the claim was completely fake and called it fraud. She took the matter to court. The case moved quickly. The auction to sell Graceland was just days away, but luckily, a judge stepped in just in time. On May 22, 2024, the day before the sale was supposed to happen. The judge ruled that Graceland was a unique and irreplaceable landmark, and selling it would cause great harm. Neither Riley nor the company showed up in court, but the judge's decision was final. Graceland was not going anywhere. Now that Elvis's attic has finally been unlocked, what did he leave behind? Let's take a closer look. The Secret Wonders of Graceland. For nearly 50 years, the attic at Graceland stayed completely closed. No one touched it after Elvis Presley passed away. But in 2025, everything changed. Archivists finally opened the attic door, and what they found gave fans a brand new look at the real Elvis Presley. Inside were personal items that had never been seen before. But before that big discovery, there was the 2006 Graceland tour. That year, Oprah Winfrey and her friend Gayle King visited the Presley family home with Lisa Marie Presley. Lisa Marie gave them a personal tour, showing them everything from the living room, still decorated just like it was in 1957, to secret parts of the house. Angie Marchese, the head of the archives at Graceland, called the basement the fun rooms. And she wasn't wrong. They visited the colorful pool room, which Lisa jokingly called the mayhem room, and then the famous jungle room, filled with green carpet and tropical furniture, one of Elvis's favorite hangouts. But the most special items were kept in a private part of the house called the Annex. This area held treasures like Elvis and Priscilla's wedding outfits, Lisa Marie's baby crib, and a few of her old toys. Then came the most secret spot of all, a room behind a door labeled Employees Only. It was so private that Oprah's crew had to stop filming before they went in. Oprah later said it was earthquake-proof, fire-proof, and tornado-proof. Most of what was inside had never been shown to the public. Then came the attic reveal in 2025. When archivists finally opened it, they found boxes filled with rare Elvis items. Even lifelong fans had never seen or heard of them. There were personal letters, old photos, never-before-seen outfits, and toys from Elvis's childhood. One of the most exciting finds was his handwritten notes. Some were lyrics, others were personal thoughts that gave a glimpse into his mind. There were also early concert posters, rare recordings, and keepsakes from his long career. Kept in the boxes were love letters from Priscilla, family photos, and scraps of paper with song lyrics. These were private items never meant for the world to see, but they showed a more emotional and personal side of Elvis. Through them, fans could see a man who loved deeply, felt a lot, and lived passionately, even beyond the fame.
All right, what pops into your mind when you hear the word jumpsuit? Is it a glamorous actress on the red carpet or maybe a jet pilot? Hey, how about Elvis Presley?
The attic was also a hidden closet full of Elvis's outfits. Some stage clothes had never been seen before. One amazing piece was a gold jumpsuit covered in Egyptian symbols, possibly made for a 1977 tour that never happened. There were also simpler things, like a worn leather jacket with a note pinned inside that read, "Wear this when you need to disappear." But the discoveries didn't end there. They also found a box of old reel-to-reel tapes, some marked as practice sessions from 1976. These tapes included private recordings, Elvis experimenting with gospel, blues, and early electronic sounds. One tape had a haunting version of Unchained Melody, recorded just months before he passed away. It was only his voice, no instruments. That recording showed a man who was still creating, still searching for something. They also uncovered fan treasures, boxes full of unopened letters, small gifts, and even a few uncashed royalty checks. Some of the fan mail came from soldiers, grieving parents, and young musicians looking for hope. One touching letter from 1976 was a petition from fans begging Elvis to cancel a tour to take care of his health. It showed how deeply people cared. And then there were the childhood memories, simple but powerful. A worn-out teddy bear from Tupelo, his high school yearbook full of notes and signatures, and a Bible his mother, Gladys, gave him. These weren't just display items. They were pieces of his life that clearly meant something to him. All of these things helped fans understand who Elvis really was. Lisa Marie once said she found comfort in the secret room. "I can come here any time and go through the boxes," she said. So, how was Elvis able to balance his private life and his public life? Let's check it out. Elvis's private life. Elvis Presley is known as the king of rock and roll, but inside, he often felt torn between what people wanted him to be and who he really was. On one side, he was a wild rock star who broke the rules. On the other hand, he wanted to be a popular pop singer. He was the handsome heartthrob who dreamed of becoming a serious actor. Elvis first sang in public when he was 10 years old, in a singing contest. He sang a sad song about a boy and his dog and won 5th place. Soon after, he got his first guitar for his birthday. Elvis's music career really began in 1954 when he started recording at Sun Records with Sam Phillips. Elvis played guitar, joined by Scotty Moore on lead guitar and Bill Black on bass. They created a new sound called rockabilly, which mixed country and rhythm and blues with a strong beat. In 1955, drummer DJ Fontana joined. That year, RCA Victor bought Elvis's contract, and Colonel Tom Parker became his manager. In January 1956, Elvis released his first RCA single, Heartbreak Hotel, which quickly became #1 in the U.S. Within a year, RCA sold 10 million Elvis singles. With hit songs and memorable TV shows, Elvis became the face of rock and roll. In November 1956, Elvis acted in his first movie, Love Me Tender.
Well, today would have been Elvis Presley's 85th birthday, and while many remember him for his music, his movies, and his iconic legacy, Ted Gray from Fayette County called him a friend.
At the height of his fame, he was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1958. He arrived at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas, where fans and reporters swarmed him. He wanted to be treated like any other soldier. Between March and September, he trained at Fort Hood, Texas, and in June he recorded 5 songs. In October, he was sent to West Germany as an armor intelligence specialist and was promoted to sergeant by 1960. He donated his army pay to charity, bought TVs for the base, and even matching uniforms for his unit. After his army service, Elvis returned to fame. With Colonel Parker's help, he made movies and soundtracks during the 1960s. Many movies got bad reviews, but some became classics, like Jailhouse Rock in 1957, Blue Hawaii in 1961, and Viva Las Vegas in 1964. By Christmas 1966, after dating Priscilla Beaulieu for more than 7 years, Elvis proposed. They married on May 1, 1967, in a quiet Las Vegas ceremony. Their only child, Lisa Marie Presley, was born on February 1, 1968. At that time, Elvis was struggling with his career, but later that year made a big comeback. His 1968 TV special, called Simply Elvis, brought him back into the spotlight. The show was a huge hit, watched by 42% of the TV audience. A reviewer said it was magical to see Elvis find himself again and praised his powerful singing and natural movements. After that, Elvis started performing live again, had a residency in Las Vegas, and went on big tours. In 1973, he made history with Aloha from Hawaii, the first solo concert broadcast live worldwide. Did Elvis actually leave the building? Let's explore further. Elvis conspiracy. Ever since Elvis Presley's demise, the world hasn't been able to let him go. For many people, his death felt like the end of a golden age. For others, it started one of the strangest and longest-running conspiracy theories in pop culture, the idea that Elvis never really died. The rumors began right away. Just a day after his death, someone said they saw a man who looked just like Elvis at the Memphis airport. The man used the name John Burroughs, a fake name Elvis, often used when he wanted to stay under the radar. That sighting became the first of many, as people around the world kept claiming to see Elvis in unexpected places. In 1987, a woman named Louise Welling said she saw Elvis at a Burger King in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Newspapers, TV shows, and radio stations jumped on the story, hoping it might be true, that maybe the king was still alive and enjoying fast food. In 1978, a woman named Gail Brewer Giorgio wrote a novel called Orion, which was loosely based on Elvis's life. In the book, the main character fakes his death to escape fame.
Certificates prepared for Elvis Presley, and that Presley's doctor tried to hide the amount of drugs the singer had taken the day he died.
A year later, in 1979, a two-part TV special called The Elvis Cover-Up aired, looking into how prescription drugs played a part in Elvis's death. Brewer Giorgio later published a book. She said, "Publishers didn't want the public to see." It was later released again with extra content and a new title, Is Elvis Alive? This edition even came with a cassette tape. On it, a voice that sounded a lot like Elvis talked about living in hiding and growing a beard to stay hidden. The voice also sang a few familiar songs, including a cover of I Love a Rainy Night by Eddie Rabbitt. Later, a singer named David Darlock admitted the voice was his. He said he was hired by an Elvis fan club for what he thought was a fictional project. Still, Brewer Giorgio went on TV shows like Oprah and Larry King Live, spreading her theory. Another believer, Major Bill Smith, claimed he had spoken directly with Elvis and even released a cassette tape called Elvis Lives, where a fake Elvis answered fan questions. Things got even stranger. In 1988, a mysterious song called Spelling on the Stone was released. It was sung by an anonymous person with a voice like Elvis and claimed that the real truth had been hidden in plain sight. One clue mentioned was the spelling of Elvis's middle name. While his real middle name was Aaron, it appeared as Aaron on his gravestone. Some fans saw that as a secret message. In 1991, a TV special called The Elvis Files, hosted by actor Bill Bixby, who once acted with Elvis, aired. It featured conspiracy theorists, blurry photos of lookalikes, and brought up the middle name mystery again. One photo, said to show Elvis by the Graceland pool house, turned out to be his friend Al Strada. In 2015, a fake news website claimed that DNA had confirmed an 80-year-old homeless man in San Diego named Jesse was actually Elvis. The next year, someone said a groundskeeper at Graceland was Elvis in disguise. What are your thoughts on the stunning revelation about Upstairs Graceland made by Elvis Presley's daughter? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.